now made of concrete. It's covered in blue and white ceramic tiles depicting scenes of Belfast life. They return all salmon to the River Lagan after a rather polluted interlude of about 200 quarter. So this stop here is for the visitor who want or when and why interactive museum experience. Many of shards glittering in the sun. Because it was the White Star Line which owned and operated the Titanic and their sister ships, the Olympic and Britannic. In case anyone's in any doubt, it is this slightly space age type building on the left hand side. They were launched is also there. You get a good view from the visitor experience. Still on the left, the grey and yellow building. The Titanic was too large to go into Cherbourg, hence the French flag flying at its stern. For time servicing, the Titanic was short, as you get it, servicing, looking at them in the order of Goliath, Samson, RMS Titanic, Royal Mail, having essentially another maiden voyage on the in through the main gates and on to Prince of Wales Drive. Exactly 1 mile long from these gates to the steps in front of the Parliament building, and so called because it was timed for the same reason. The original plan was to have 3 buildings on this site after the American model: the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. They ran out of money. Acting as a beacon for the Luftwaffe while in the valley below. 7 years, perhaps 7 men, 8 years, I can never remember that amount of time to remove the so-called man and a woman, some of them. But there's additional portraits of James Ellis, the actor from Z Cars, James Galway, the flautist, Gary Lightbody, the frontman of Snow Patrol, just over your right shoulder when you get moving. Belfast Protestant boys, just to your left hand side. And at the next set of lights we've got 3 in a row. They're all black and white. The story goes that black and white paint was all they could afford at the time. The reality is probably on the left hand side. The right to clean ourselves. Back on the right, East Belfast UVF. We're better than a Pilates class for limbering you up, you know. Stop number 9 coming up for Freedom Corner. Now this is for very political murals dating from the height of the Troubles when they were first put in a political message. So when we get there, stop number 9, you're going to see reference to ulsters, past offenders. They're not here unless they're not heard the well. Freedom Corner finished off, still on the right hand side with a sculpture group, the Titanic Yardmen, just coming into view now, representing 3 men coming back from building the Titanic. It looks a little bit idealised to me. It looks a bit we're in the Protestant loyalist area here on the left hand side. This wall means it is kick-starting the regeneration of Belfast, which I think is true up to a point. They did take a bit of a... It's a very flamboyant, bling-bling building for Belfast here on your right-hand side. This is the back of it. Within it's a complete riot of stucco and marble and gilding. You can take tours of the City Hall if anyone would be interested in doing so. They're frequent and free, last about 50 minutes. City Hall damaged during the Belfast Blitz of 1941, 10 years later when they came to the left, the Winter Park football stadium. By football I mean soccer. So there's a Northern Ireland football team and a Republic of Ireland football team. And some would say a healthy or unhealthy play, but in between. Looking left and right as we go along some of those main streets of Belfast we were talking about. A couple of streets coming into view on the right hand side. We've got Talbot Street, which is supposed to be followed by Belfast Street. It's called Rise, but they insist on calling it the Balls and the Falls, as we're close to the Balls Road here, or as we enter West Belfast, it is known as the Westing. Right hand side was a Presbyterian church during the Troubles. Didn't sit very well here in the depicted at birth of a new nation. Next up, coming up for the Bobby Sands MP and Hunger Striker. Stopped at number 18. Now we are coming up, well actually, so you're going to go over your left shoulder for Bobby Sands MP, the mural, and Hunger Striker. He went on hunger strike in the early 1980s, look over your left shoulder now, along with 9 companions, in an attempt to get political status reintroduced for political prisoners, so the right to wear your own clothes, the right to free association. Now to get from Catholic Republican West Belfast through to Protestant Loyalists is not difficult. We're doing it by going through the gates. That's how close the two communities are to each other. We'll be turning left here. Our troubles kicked off in 1969. That mission built up in August 1969. It eventually broke and over 2,000 families were burnt out of their homes in the streets connecting the Falls Road to the Shanklin Road, leading directly to the creation of this peace wall on our left-hand side, one of 41 peace walls in and around Belfast in Northern Ireland. We're clearly a road this side, but I can tell you the other side of that is back gardens. Imagine having that at the end of your garden. It's going in front of building Court Credit Union Limited, France built in loss of 36. The Home Rule Petition of 1912, signed by 500,000 people, over 500,000 people, some in their own blood. The flagpoles on the right hand side, part of the Bayardo bar bombing memorial, not dissimilar to Purcell's fish shop. People have flags drinking in the bar and so on goes on. Bombings which occurred during or near 30 years of the Troubles. Just to say They were vacated in the 1970s when it wasn't such a good idea of people knowing that you were a prison officer. And they were refurbished last year, but other than seeing the roof of D-Wing. If you were lucky enough to be sent down, and there's the frontage of the cathedral on the left. And we're coming to the end of our tour, ladies and gentlemen.